Good morning. Welcome to the briefing session of the Hong Kong Sustainability Award 2022. I'm Albert from the Secretariat team. In today's session, we've invited Chairman of the Organizing Committee, Dr. Damon Lee, and our Board of Examiner, Mr. Hendrik Rosanto, to introduce the award scheme and the judging criteria. Especially, we will highlight the new changes this year. We've also invited two past winners to share valuable tips to help the preparation. Participants are welcome to raise questions via the Slido. You can scan the QR code on the screen now, or you can type the event code on the Slido page, and you will arrive to the landing page where you could insert your questions there. These questions will be addressed during the Q&A session towards the end of the briefing session. Without further ado, may we now invite Chairman of the Hong Kong Sustainability Award Organizing Committee, Dr. Damon Lee, Vice Chair of TAL, to start the briefing session. Dr. Lee, please.
Thank you. Oh, I got everything not muted. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As Chairman of the Hong Kong Sustainability Award Organizing Committee, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to this briefing session. Under the current pandemic situation in Hong Kong, we conduct this briefing section fully online. But still, we are very delighted to meet with over 170 participants today, and thank you very much for your support. Since its establishment in 2016, the Hong Kong Sustainability Award has been providing an invaluable platform for cross-sector sharing of best practices of sustainability. It inspires organizations to integrate sustainability into their operation and culture, and to develop desirable sustainability practices now and into the future. To intensify the momentum in promoting the importance of sustainability, starting from 2022, the award will be organized on an annual basis. Sponsor slide, thank you. This year, the award has once again been blessed with the continuous support from many sustainability committed organizations. I would like to thank them for their great support in driving the development of sustainability in Hong Kong. Next slide. Today, the briefing session will be divided in 5 sections. I will introduce the details of the individual award and organization award. I'm truly grateful to have Hendrik Rosenthal, Director of Group Sustainability at CLP Holdings Limited, who is one of our examiners, to go through the judging criteria and highlight some changes in the questions in the application form. We're also very privileged to have invited 2 winners from last year's award. Ms. Clara Chan, Vice Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, and Executive Director of Lee King Holdings Limited. She was the Distinguished Sustainability Leadership Awardee of the medium-sized organization category. And we also have Mr. Jasper Chan, Climate Change and Sustainability Technology Manager of the Hong Kong and China Gas Company Limited, the grand award winner of the large organization category. Both of them will share some valuable tips with us. Thank you. I'm sure the experiences would be a big help in your preparation work. Without further ado, let's start with the introduction. Next. So these are the objectives of the Hong Kong Sustainability Award: to raise awareness of the importance of sustainability in the business community, to give public recognition to organizations demonstrating a commitment to sustainability in their operation while achieving good organizational performance, to provide a platform for organizations to benchmark best practices of sustainability, and to recognize business leaders and sustainability experts for the significant contribution to the sustainable development of the organization, as well as the business community. Next. Some highlights of the award. The award, as you would be able to tell from the questionnaire, is a holistic approach. It recognizes organization as well as business leaders that demonstrate due considerations to the 3 aspects of sustainability: economic, social and environmental aspects. The award is developed by a pool of business leaders and sustainability experts. And we make the award that is appropriate for the Hong Kong business environment. The award advocates cross-sector sharing of best practices. So you will see entries from very different best business sectors in Hong Kong with the aim of inspiring organizations to embed sustainability into their operation and culture and achieving a long-term business sustainability. Next. We have two categories. One is called Organization Award and one is called Individual Award. For the Organization Award, it is open to all organizations registered in Hong Kong, whether it's public or private sectors, and regardless of the size and nature of the business. And for the individual awards, we give recognition to business leaders and sustainability experts for the contribution to the sustainable development of the organization and business community. I'd like to highlight that for the Organization Award, we welcome companies of different sizes. And in fact, they will be actually judged by their peers in the same business size and not judged with everyone. So they'll be judged with peers. Next. This is the organizing committee. You see myself with others, people from very different sectors, from logistics to real estate to academic as well. Next slide, which is the board of examiners. Once again, we have sustainability experts from many fields, from utilities, from apparel, from education as well. And then, next slide. We also actually have a panel of judges, which is composed of the award organizing committee, as well as top management from different fields and industries. Next. So let me go through quickly the individual awards first. Next. The award is intended to recognize business leaders and sustainability experts for their significant contribution to sustainable development of their own organization as well as the business community. Nominees need to be occupy a senior position in their company, C-level or above, and have been playing a leading role in the sustainable development of the organization as well as the business community. All entrants must be nominated by the organization, and each organization can nominate one candidate for the individual award. In terms of the award, we have a Distinguished Sustainability Leadership Award. There's no limit to the number of awardees. It will be awarded based on the organizational size, large, medium, and small. And out of the Distinguished Sustainability Leadership Award, we'll pick one winner. A winner will be selected as the Distinguished Sustainability Leadership Award. This is the timeline. You have about a month, April 29th, to submit a nomination form. Then you have a good time to submit the actual application form in 6th of June. And then in June and July, there will be judging by the Board of Examiners, and then a final judging by the panel of judges in August. And the winner would be announced in the awards ceremony in November. Next. All nominees are required to fill in an application form before April 29th, an online one, of course. You have some basic information about the nominee. Once it's submitted, you actually get a designated user ID and password for the nominee to gain access to. Next. And then the nominee are requested to submit a one-page summary of personal information and a 4-page write-up of his or her achievements and for contributing to system development for his organization and the business community. All the submissions should be in A4 size with a font size not less than 10, and there should be 4 pages. And the nominees are required to submit the write-ups on or before 5 p.m. 6th of June. And then these are the timeline for the judging. So June and July, there will be a board of examiners to decide a short list, a final list for the Distinguished Sustainability Leadership Award for the final judging, which happens in August. There will be an interview face-to-face, hopefully face-to-face interview by the panel of judges. And then the panel of judges will decide the winner of Distinguished Sustainability Leadership Award, as well as the Sustainability Leader of the Year. So that was for individual award. For the organization award, we have something similar, except it's for companies. Company registered in any of these can enter, including NGOs, non-profit making and social purpose organization. Government departments and bureau are also eligible. Next. The sustainability initiative or cases cited in the application form should be implemented by the participating organization. It should be launched in the past 2 years, 2020 and 21. The initiative cited should be substantially different from previous submission. If the company has submitted an application before, the cases should be substantially different from previous submissions. And the HKMA may request verification of data and information submitted by participating organization. Next. The participating organization are categorized according to number of employees below, based on what we call span of control. The 3 award categories include large, medium, and small, and these are the numbers. So 200 employees or above is large, 51 to 200 is medium, and less than 50 is small. So this is just to reiterate, the participant organization will be assessed among the same categories. For the organization award, we have 4 awards. I'm going to start at the bottom, which is the Certificate of Excellence granted to organization demonstrating excellent commitment and effort. Then there will also be Merit Award, a higher level of award. The next level up is Distinction Award. And then the highest is the Grand Award. There will only be 1 Grand Award for each category for the year. Whereas the others, we have unlimited numbers. Apart from those, we also have Excellence in Sustainability Initiative Awards, Excellence in Economic, Social or Environmental Initiative. Next. We also have Excellence in Innovation, and last but not least, an Excellence in Pandemic Resilience to grant to organizations who have implemented measures in favor of their staff or measure that have resulted in positive impact on their business and society at large during the COVID-19 outbreak. So this is just sort of a summary of all the awards. So 4 level awards: Grand, Distinction, Merit, and Certificate of Excellence, and Special Award in Sustainability Initiative, Innovation, and Pandemic Resilience. There are no limits to the number of awardees for Distinction, Merit, and Certificate of Excellence and Special Award. Only the Grand Award, there's only 1 per category. And there could maybe special awards granted at the discretion of the examiners and judges to recognize organizations with outstanding performance in specific areas. Next. This is the same timeline as submission of nomination form on the 29th of April, application on 6th of June, and then judging happens examiners and judging happens in June to August, and announcement in November 2022. Next. So all participants are required to fill in and submit the online entry form on or before 29th of April. And then also once you've submitted that entry form, you actually get a designated user ID and password that you can actually log into the online application form. And all participants are required to submit the application form on or before 5 p.m. on 6th of June, 2022. The online application actually comprises of 3 sections. It allows different departments or parties in your organization to simultaneously fill in different sections of the application form, the three sections, using the same set of user ID and password. However, simultaneous input of data under the same section is not supported. So the platform also allows you to, you don't have to complete all the sections in one attempt. The complete application form can be saved and is saved automatically during the session, as well as when you press save and log out as well. Next. After finishing each section, please press the complete button. After completing all 3 sections, you're required to fill in a declaration section and press the submit the application form. And you may use the same set of user ID and password to review the submitted application form. However, once the submitted button is pressed, the constant is fixed and you're not allowed to change the submission after that. And you're of course allowed to save a record of the application form in HTML or print it, but please consider the environment before printing. These are the judging timeline. From June and July, the Board of Examiners will conduct an initial screening and propose the finalists for the Distinction Award. And at the same time, determine recipients of the Merit of Award, Certificate of Excellence, and Special Awards. The final judging happens in August. All of the finalists, all of the finalists of distinction will be interviewed by the panel of judges and then decided on the winners of the Grand Award and the Distinction Award. And Board of Examiners may conduct site visits when necessary. And once again, the award ceremony, the winners will be announced at the ceremony in November. Next slide. And now I pass on to Hendrik, who will tell you a little bit about the judging criteria. Hendrik.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. And thanks everyone for giving me the opportunity to share some thoughts on the judging criteria for both the individual award as well as the organization award. And maybe I'll start with the next slide for the individual award section. And it's, as Delma mentioned, a write-up that we're looking for, and there's some key criteria that we would like everyone who's applying for this award to address. And that relates very much to personal commitments, and that's around, fundamentally around passion, your vision, commitment to sustainability. You need to be able to demonstrate leadership in this space, and really we're looking for evidence that you've gone beyond your own organization in terms of bringing forward sustainability within your community, within the professionals that you work, or even within the organization itself. But it is fundamentally about that drive to showcase that you've gone above and beyond your sort of day-to-day work. There is indeed additional, if you have awards otherwise that you've already been recognized previously, obviously that's useful information to have, and whether that's academic or professional, or any other sort of public recognition that is indeed good information to provide. Fundamentally, though, and the most important part of the criteria is around your own achievements in sustainability, any sort of specific initiatives or policies or any sort of practices that you've implemented, whether that's, again, within your own organization or for your community, or any sort of association that you may be associated with, any NGO, just sort of really focusing on your own role in that achievement and the positive impact that you brought forward. Another piece that's important and that we're looking for is additional evidence is really about creating a culture of sustainability in the day-to-day business or any sort of process or that you may have implemented. So it's really about information related to the business goals that you have or the structure or strategies, and really just showcasing that you've actually made progress in this space and that you've brought something forward that's different, that's unique. And then more broadly, as a sort of last piece of evidence that we're looking for, it is really about the overall general contributions and any other additional information. So it doesn't have to be specifically long. And Delma mentioned there's a word limit, there's a font size limit. We please be mindful when you submit to this specific category that the Board of Examiners have to read every one of these submissions. It does take quite a bit of time, and it is, if you can be short and to the point and highlight the key areas here that we're looking for, I think the achievements usually speak for themselves. The longer is not better in this case for this sort of submission. It is really about being focused in terms of showcasing the actual contributions that you've made, and that should speak for itself. And that's what we're looking for in terms of awarding this very prestigious category to an individual. So yeah, I'm happy to take questions on this later, but this is what we have for the individual award category in terms of key judging criteria. The next section for the organization award is a bit more complicated. It is definitely longer. It does require quite a bit of effort for every company who wants to submit here to go through the questions. And I won't go through every question now, but I'll highlight the key areas and just try to showcase to you where the biggest emphasis is in terms of the Board of Examiners reviewing these submissions and shortlisting them for the panel of judges. And the first section is really about management commitment, about how you engage stakeholders. And this is a shorter one. It only has 10 points overall. And we're looking for any sort of evidence about how sustainability is part of your vision, your mission, how it's really integrated into your business goals, into your business plan, and how your senior management, your leadership is part and parcel of this process. And this is relatively straightforward in terms of some basic questions that we're looking for, including, and that's new this year, whether you have any sort of public reports available. And if you do, we would like to see the link so that perhaps the Board of Examiners can review some of that as well, and to really understand better how advanced you are in this space. So again, that's a pretty straightforward, relatively short section. The bigger piece is the second section, where we're looking at some key elements around economic, social, and environmental dimension, and I'll go through those in a minute in separate slides. But it is here where we've made a change this year, and we're also looking for evidence of impact in each of these dimensions. So if you look at social dimension, we'll be asking a number of questions around what you've done, but then also looking, or giving you rather, the opportunity to showcase what sort of impact these initiatives have had and these processes that you've implemented have had, in this case, perhaps on the community. As a last part, and this is really around, so the third section here is really about giving you an opportunity to showcase some of your initiatives, some of your innovations, some of your different achievements that are much more practical. So the first and second section is more about process, about management approach. And the third section here is really about giving you the opportunity to give us the best example that you have in terms of the economic, social, or environmental dimension. And of course, for the last few years, we've had now a special section on COVID-19 and what you've done in this case in terms of supporting either your people, your community, or more broadly, Hong Kong, perhaps, in terms of how we wrestle with this ongoing pandemic. So success case studies is really what's key here, and that should really be quite helpful for the Board of Examiners to better understand how you advanced in this space. Now, on the next slide, I'll review the second piece. So that's the key elements of sustainability, and here's the first one. And these three sections, the one on economic, social, and environmental dimension, are these are the long ones. This is the meat of your submission. The economic one has a big focus on governance, risk management, how you integrate sustainability into your business practices, and also financial sustainability here being the first piece that we ask about. And it's really about how do you balance sustainability and making ends meet, if you like, and how do you make money and be sustainable at the same time? This is what we're looking for in this first instance. And have you even thought about it fundamentally? This is a sort of very basic question that we would like to understand, and whether you've really considered some of these challenges in terms of balancing that. Corporate governance also being very important if you have a board, especially if you're publicly listed, or even for smaller organizations. How aware is the leadership within the organization? How is sustainability actually integrated into the decision-making process within your organization? It doesn't matter if you're small or medium or large sized organization. It is something that we feel, in terms of being eligible for this type of award, it needs to be embedded within your organization. It needs to be taken seriously at the highest level, and there needs to be processes and governance in place in order for that to happen. So we're simply looking for evidence of process and governance on that. In terms of risk and crisis management, it's primarily about control processes. What do you have in place to manage your risks, in particular ESG or sustainability type risks, and how effective is that risk management culture within the organization? The business integrity and ethics part is quite basic. Compliance primarily with laws and regulations, and that's within your own organization as well as across the supply chain. But it's also about making sure that your people, your staff, your employees are well aware and trained to be in compliance, and perhaps even go above and beyond that. And how do you enable the organization to really go above and beyond? That is where you get points. That's where you get bonus points, if you like. And then as a new piece here, and that's what I mentioned earlier, the whole impact side of things. So how do you actually achieve impact by implementing all these different processes that are just outlined? And that's you've perhaps achieved here, and how effective is this, and giving you an opportunity to really bring forward some examples in this case, and how your business is thriving, or how your community is thriving because you've taken these steps to implement these different processes within the organization. Yeah, so a lot of it is, it's not long answer. There's a few long answer questions, but a lot of it is fundamentally just ticking a few boxes, and we're looking for evidence in these areas. For the next section, the next slide is about social dimensions, and again, this is really about community and people. And as a first instance, it's about community investments. What sort of strategies have you put in place to create long-term value for your own organization, for the people that you serve as an organization, and for more broadly the society as such? And any sort of actions for supporting disadvantaged groups or underprivileged groups, partnerships with NGOs, anything at all in this area that really fosters caring within and inside your own and outside your own organization. So it really goes across the board, and we'd be looking for sort of anything that anything that supports caring and community caring in particular. For the people section, it's about, again, code of conduct, employee behavior, and really reviewing, I guess, how to become more effective, and how do people within the organization become more effective, and what sort of policies you have in place to enable your people to really be in line here in terms of behavior and really showcasing a caring culture. There's also evidence we're looking for related to policies and measures to retain talent. So training and safety and wellness is very important in this area. And really just how are you communicating openly with your own people, and how do you actually institute a caring culture within the organization? And again, as a last piece, the new piece that's different this year is about demonstrating impact, and what sort of positive impact any of these social measures that you've instituted here, whether that's around community or people, and how does that in itself then create impact across within or without the organization, within the organization or outside the organization rather. And then as a last piece on the next slide, we have the environmental dimension. There we have actually a new question that we put in, and that's it's around climate change. And as you know, Hong Kong has set a net zero commitment, a carbon neutral commitment rather, by 2050. So we felt as the organizing committee and that it was timely for us to also embed this within the questionnaire, and giving each of the applicants the opportunity to specifically let us know what sort of commitments you have in place, and whether you actually have a target, a net zero target, and what sort of measures you've instituted to attain this target, and what sort of progress you have. So that's new this year. Otherwise, the questions continue to focus on environmental management systems, policies that are in place, any sort of certificates that you may have. Are you aware of your own environmental footprint? What sort of systems have you instituted to mitigate your environmental footprint? And how do you ensure at a very basic level compliance with environmental laws and regulations? On the environmental management side, it's really about driving improvement, and especially if you're more on the manufacturing side, what sort of processes have you implemented to mitigate your own environmental footprint? For the services, so this is where we have to take a different, a very focused approach, I guess. We look at each application on each applicant in relatively detail. So we do need to consider, as we read through these submissions, what type of industry you're in. And if you are, for instance, in a manufacturing environment with a potentially high environmental impact, but you have no systems in place, that's not good. You probably won't be getting a lot of points here, but if you are in a service sector and you are an office-based organization and with a relatively low environmental footprint, you may consume electricity and paper, for instance. This section is relatively less important, and we probably put more emphasis on the other two dimensions, and particularly social and economic, to really better understand how you are performing as an organization. So we do have to look at this holistically as the panel of judges and the Board of Examiners reviews this. And then also we do ask about your risks here and whether you understand your own future risks, whether that's environmental specifically or changes in regulations or even issues around climate change, and whether you've considered this and what sort of processes you have in place to really mitigate some of these potential future risks. Impact, again, here is new, and we're giving you now the opportunity for the environmental dimension as well to showcase whether you understand your own impact and how you address that and how you've managed to address that impact through these processes that you've implemented here in the environmental dimension. As a last piece, and that's on the next slide, I wanted to explain a little bit about the showcase section, which is the last section. And that's again around the three dimensions as well, sort of environmental, social, and economic, where you can provide examples. And it's also about your own response to COVID-19. And it is really just a case study information. So this is real examples of initiatives that you've implemented within the organization to address some of these issues. And I think the best way to explain this one and how we review them is by example of my own organization. So CLP also submits for this award. I obviously, as being on the Board of Examiners, wouldn't review that submission. Just to be very clear here, we are very segregated as the Board of Examiners and the panel of judges as well in terms of making sure that we don't have any conflict of interest in reviewing any of this. So I wouldn't just, in my case, I wouldn't just not review a CLP submission, but any sort of peers I also wouldn't be judging, and especially if it's just the large category of organizations, I wouldn't be reviewing those. I would be looking at other categories where CLP does not compete, and it's the same for all the other judges and examiners here. But in terms of example, what we submitted and where CLP did indeed win 2 awards in the special category here, special recognition, is around environmental dimension and our CLP's response to COVID-19. And for example, in the environmental dimension, we really just outlined our updated climate vision, the commitments that CLP has made to mitigate climate change, the commitments the organization has made to really reduce the carbon intensity of the product that we provide to our customers, which is obviously electricity, and the various targets that we set, and the other additional sort of processes we put in place to bring that forward. So this is, you know, and I think in our case, a very, very fundamental initiative that we brought forward. It is above and beyond. It is a submission, or it is part of the business here at CLP that is really quite important to differentiate us from, well, to really showcase that we've made a difference here. And that's what we're looking for. I just wanted to showcase by example, not really to belabor what CLP has done in this instance, but really just to showcase that we are looking for more than just business as usual. If you want to win an award in these special categories, these special recognitions, you really do have to go above and beyond. It can't just be what you do anyways as part of your business. And really, and I just wanted to sort of close on this note and thank you again, Delman and the HKMA team, for giving me the opportunity to showcase how we review all these submissions. And the panel of judges and the board of examiners really do take quite a bit of time to review and their submissions. There's many that we do receive, and they do grow year by year. And it really is just becoming very competitive in this space nowadays. To be able to win an award, we take good care to make sure that these awards are well deserved, that we do recognize exceptional performance. I think that's really the point here. We do want to bring awards to those and recognize those that go above and beyond what their normal business is. And we encourage everyone to really try their best to make our community better, to make Hong Kong a better place, and to really look out and care for each other and care for the environment, while at the same time still run a successful business. That's really what it comes down to. So thanks very much. I hope that was useful sort of background, and good luck everyone with your submissions.
Thank you, Hendrik, for a very detailed explanation and some tips in there as well, I can hear. Thank you. If anyone has any questions on the award scheme, feel free to post your question in Slido. So either scan this QR code quickly or write down that number, HKS80330. So if you go to the website, if you type that in, you will get to the Q&A website for this session. Okay, now we shall invite Ms. Clara Chan of Lee King Group, the Distinguished Sustainability Leadership Awardee of last year's award, who has prepared a video to share her experience on how to prepare for the individual award. Let's roll it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Clara Chan, CEO of Leaky Group. It was my honor to receive the Distinguished Sustainability Leadership Award last year, and I am delighted today to share with you some tips about how to go for this award. One of the most important experiences I had during the application process was a chance to review the sustainability work we have been working on in the past few years. Throughout the application process, we had to review our sustainability commitments from different stakeholders' perspectives, including the company's point of view and my personal point of view. We also reflect on the progress that we have made and explore how we can further contribute to the industry and society. After reassessing our work and our commitments, we decided how we wanted to plan the future and influence the industry and society to raise the awareness of sustainability. First of all, I would like to share with you about myself and my company. Leaky Group was established in Hong Kong in 1947. I am the fourth generation running a company in the metal industry. Sustainability has always been in our hearts for multiple generations. Speaking from the fourth generation, running a 75-year-old company and in January perceived the traditional industry. The sustainability commitments in Leaky Group is not only at the top management level, but it runs through the whole company. I've joined the industries for over 25 years, and I always believe that sharing our visions and commitments with all the staff and stakeholders and ensuring that we all work at the same pace is crucial. Effective internal communications go a long way in promoting a corporate culture that values sustainability. Not communicating is frankly a pitfall in our sustainability journey. This is always our belief that we run the company to embrace diversities and openness. Also, we keep on improving the business by adopting digitalization and sustainability practice. I firmly believe that our world is connected. To that end, I want to share our commitments to sustainability with you. I would also like to share this concept with business in the value chain, especially my suppliers and customers. We ensure not only high-quality materials, but also environmental methods of handling the materials. We also wanted to be scientific and identify ways to track carbon emissions along the value chain. This is how we should work in the ecosystem of the metal industry. Over the years, we have strived to achieve these ambitious goals by adopting new technologies and innovative process. We hope that our commitments can enhance our products and customers' experience. We want to promote sustainability in the metal value chain. We also concerned about how we can contribute to our community. We have set up our 3 foundations in recent years, focusing on youth developments, mindfulness, and physical developments for the communities. We have been promoting and doing a lot of work with different partners in different regions and cultures to promote youth engagements in physical and mindful ways. For example, during the pandemic, we have invited psychologists to give talk to our colleagues and share with them how to maintain a peaceful mind when we are facing challenging situations. I really enjoyed the overall application process. I got a chance to review the work I have done and consolidate the sustainability journey. It allows me to think about how I want to contribute further to the society, our communities, and the industry, and explore how our industries can be run more sustainably. Most importantly, I got a chance to meet with many talented and like-minded adventurers whom I can learn more from. I think this is a great opportunity, and I encourage all of you to try for this award.
Thank you, Clara, for sharing your experiences in applying for the award. We now invite Mr. Jasper Chan, Climate Change and Sustainability Technology Manager of the Hong Kong and China Gas Company Limited, our grand award winner of the large organization last year, to share his experience. Jasper.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Chairman, for the intro. Today, we are going to share with you some experiences while preparing for the written submission, for the presentation, and for the Q&A session. So I have divided them into 3 major parts. First of all, let me take this chance to give you a brief intro of Town Gas. We actually have been in place for about this year. It is our 160th anniversary, 160th birthday, and up to now we have about more than 400 projects in different areas and in mainland China. And our major business units, most of them are working on environmental projects. For example, supply of city gas. We do have biomass plants that produces biodiesel or bioaviation fuel. We have some water and waste management plants. We also have some smart energies. So on the right-hand side, just to name a few brands under Town Gas. For the written submission, I will take it as a body check for a company. So basically, last year, there were a total of 59 questions covering 4 major parts, as Hendrik just now mentioned. And I will say that the tips is to use the joint effort from different departments. So we did not fill in the questionnaire all by ourselves, because apparently and obviously, most people from the relevant departments will be more capable and more they understand more about what different types of areas they are focusing on. And then, but because it is a body check for the whole body, then you should, or we actually have a coherent theme for the whole submission. Okay, for example, Town Gas has been migrating from a traditional city gas company into a smart energy company that focuses on renewable energy in the recent few years. And then another one is that we actually used point form to shorten our answers and make it easy for the judges to review our application. So for the presentation, I have selected some of the slides that we actually used and share with you all. For environmental part, we had introduced our 2025 target, which is to build 8 gigawatt of solar panels. Okay, 8 gigawatt is like about 80% of the total generation capacity of the 3 Hong Kong power plants. So it is a very, very big scale of solar panels distributed in different in different industrial parks in mainland China. The second target we set was to do 2 gigawatt hour energy storage. It is to compensate sometimes there would be the renewable energy may fluctuate, and we want to secure a reliable energy supply to our customers. The third one was about the kitchen waste treatment. We currently have 2 kitchen waste treatment plants in mainland China, and in 2 years' time, we will have 1 more. And we are also doing waste incineration in mainland China that will generate electricity. I forgot to mention that our kitchen waste treatment plants, they will generate bio natural gas. So all of these 4 projects are actually related to the renewable energy side. Apart from that, we also have biofuels that generate biodiesel and bioaviation fuel from UCO, that is the used cooking oil, which is readily available in mainland China. Or we can actually generate those biochemicals from POMI. POMI is some kind of oil from the wastewater that was processed to generate palm oil that is widely used in different kinds of products. We also have other kinds of biochemical plants, and we have combined heat and power systems, which have energy efficiency of up to 87%, and so on and so forth. And one of the highlights of our last year's presentation was about the generation of HVO. HVO is actually the 2nd generation of biodiesel. If you recall, usually we discuss if there is a diesel engine car without any modification, the maximum amount to blend in biodiesel is about 7%. Okay, this applies to the 1st generation biodiesel, but what we produce is a 2nd generation biodiesel, and it can actually blend up to 100%. Right now, we are selling these biodiesels to the European countries, and hopefully we can import it into Hong Kong for use in very soon. On the right-hand side, we actually started a local research. You can see Town Gas logo on this truck. We started a local research to prove that, or to benchmark how well this kind of new biodiesel compares with traditional diesel, that is a fossil diesel. So the last 2 slides was extracted from the environmental side. For social part, we have put this slide. This is about that we actually, in order to hinder and in order to group the best ideas around the world, we actually rolled out global award for net zero technologies. And the top awardee was actually announced 2 months ago, and they got $1 million as the award. On the other side, we also have a lot of different kind of collaborations with our customers. These are just 2 examples. On the left-hand side is about the combined heat and power system, which I mentioned just now. They have a very high energy efficiency. Basically, they burn town gas or landfill gas, and then at the same time, they will generate power. They will generate steam and hot water for the hospital use. And on the right-hand side, we actually have a new project to cooperate with Massims, which their factory is located near our typo plant. So we send our waste steam, which has a lot of heat energy, to their factory for hot water supply. So these two projects saves up to 3,000 tons of carbon emission per year. And for public awareness, of course, we have also done a lot of different promotions and engagements. On the left, you can see that we have actually published 2 pamphlets. Usually when you search energy efficiency online, you will come up with power suggestions about how you reduce your power consumption. But for how to use gas more efficiently, there is minimal information available online. So we engaged universities to do studies and research and made up 2 pamphlets that you can download from the website. Inside, there are different tips how you can use town gas in a more energy efficient way. On the right-hand side, of course, we have different kind of media promotions, including green building, green cooking, and some other kind of engagements. The other one that we put inside the percentage is about our commitment to carbon neutrality. So we have committed to become carbon neutral by 2050. And then we also have 2 targets set. The first one is about reducing our carbon emission, and the second one is actually reducing our customers' carbon emission, that is a scope-free emission, through our business. So we also have, in terms of economic side, we also have a huge amount of investments in renewable energy in the coming few years that adds up to more than 60 billion Hong Kong dollars in the coming 4 years, that is by 2025. So we are also very happy to receive different public recognitions and also the Hong Kong MA Sustainability Award. So it comes to the Q&A, how we handled or how we prepared for the Q&A session. We actually listed out the questions asked by the panel judges last year. So the first one was about name one most impressive project. And I remember I answered about the HVO because I'm a chemical engineer, and I think using a new patented technology in a chemical plant is very impressive. And also it generates a lot of environmental benefits in the carbon side or in air emission side. The second question was about any world first project, which I mentioned just now as well. The third one was about financial funding, which I will tell you more in later. The fourth one is about people engagement, how we engage with employees and customers. So the tips is basically, I would say you need to understand your corporate plans and directions very deeply. For example, the financial funding, I was engaged in the preparation of town gas ESG loans and other financial instruments, and that's why I knew some of the progress going on. And the other one is you have to know about how your peer companies are doing, what are the latest developments or industry trends. Otherwise, it will be rather difficult to answer the first 2 questions listed above. So here comes to the end of my presentation, and I hope wish you great success in this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jasper, for the valuable insight, including how you answer the question from the judges. Some tip as well. Thank you. So now we go into the Q&A section of today. And this is the Slido QR code and the link and the code. And then we'll go into the Q&A session.